Welcome to New Hampshire's Business. I'm Fred Coker. We honored our veterans November 11th, which then brought to mind those veterans among us who are homeless in New Hampshire. 500 at last count. There are several organizations in New Hampshire doing something about it. Two of them are my guests, but first, here's a picture of veterans in New Hampshire by the numbers. Veterans. 85,749, that's 7.5% of the population 18 and over. Over half are age 65 and over. Twice as likely to have a disability. They own 7.3% of all firms with employees in the state. And a picture of homelessness in New Hampshire by the numbers. Here is the state of homelessness in New Hampshire 2024, statewide, 6,806, 49.5% increase from 2020. Chronic. Here are the categories: chronic homelessness, and you can see the numbers: persons and families, unsheltered, veterans, whom we're going to talk about, and the source, that's the source of the Coalition to End Homelessness. Now, the City of Manchester has teamed up with Harbor Care, an organization that helps veterans with health care and housing, both with the goal of eliminating veteran homelessness. With me is the Mayor of Manchester, Jay Rouet, and the President and CEO of Harbor Care, Henry Oakes. One of us is a veteran, and we have a National Guard person, and we have a reserve person here, so military all, right?
Yes,
Welcome.
sir.
Nice to have you here.
Great to be with you.
What was the finally spark that caused you two to get together to end homelessness on the streets of Manchester at a time when we had just been through a period where the highest percent increase in veteran homelessness in the country was here in New Hampshire?
Well, thank you for having us this morning. I think when I took office at the beginning of 2024, this was something that I had heard a great deal about from our residents, businesses, visitors within the city, homelessness writ large.
Yep.
And so we wanted to start taking a look at this problem and breaking it down into manageable pieces. So that's an idea that I had in my mind, and Harbor Care had come into my office in the summer of last year and presented, as any good military member would do, presented a full plan and how we could work together to end veterans' homelessness.
What was the key to that plan, Henry?
Community buy-in. When we sat down with the mayor, it was May of last year. We laid out what the state of affairs were here in Manchester and across the state, and we let him know that the goal of achieving an effective end to veteran homelessness in the city of Manchester is very possible. It's within reach. But we need community support, and we needed his leadership, which he was more than happy to provide. Well,
let's go to a graphic that shows the veteran homelessness in Manchester. It shows 62 veterans recently placed in permanent housing. The mayor tells me that's now 80 veterans. Dozens more prevented from falling into homelessness through proactive intervention. And the overall cost so far, staff, rent, food, supplies, waste, at least the last count was $727,100. Mayor, Manchester has had a real issue with this home. Businesses have complained about the encampments on the city streets, as you know. What has turned that around? Because you have.
Well, thank you. I think dealing with this in a comprehensive way. So looking at it from a law enforcement perspective, we certainly can't have any kind of growing encampments within the city. So on a law enforcement side, that's one piece. And then, of course, you have to address the underlying drivers of this as well, whether it's addiction or mental health or lack of a license, things like that are prohibitive to getting into housing. And then, of course, the final piece of this is adding more affordable housing into our city so that we can ultimately break that cycle and get people off our streets.
Harbor Care. Henry, Harbor Care based in Nashua, housing, healthcare, veteran services, 450 veterans and their families, creating a sustainability fund for veteran housing. That's what you're doing in Manchester, a sustainability fund, and you're partnering with the city. What do you see in Manchester? Is the veteran population going to be going up or down? I know you want it to go down. What are you going to do specifically to make it go down?
So we have been working with landlords across the community to help find units for veterans in need, specifically one-bedroom, first-floor units that are handicap accessible.
Yep.
We do have a number of veterans that are older and have a tough time moving around. So that is really what we have been doing, building relationships with landlords and members of the community to raise awareness.
And we're going to have to leave it there. We're out of time. Mayor Rouet, Jay Rouet of Manchester, thank you. And Colonel Henry Oak of Harbor Care, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, all too short. A problem, though, that's being solved. If you missed part of this, you can go to WMUR.com, where it will be posted all this week.